What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. Got a special guest joining me tonight. Gonna bring him up in just a second. Tink, stop shaking the cage already. It's been 10 seconds into the show, girl. Anyway, if you guys, I see you in the chat. Appreciate you guys showing up, man. Hit that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button as well. Super chats are open. Gonna dive into some Buckeye football. Been being told some things about the state of the team, about where they are going into this Penn State game, offensively, defensively. Dive into that a little bit. Gonna dive into just overall thoughts on the Buckeyes, but got a special guest, man, Daniel Sanchez, joining us tonight. What up, Daniel? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, my man? How you doing? Been a minute.
Yeah, has been a minute. Glad to get you back on here. Enjoying being a Buckeye fan, man. Enjoying being a Buckeye fan. Just this is one of those years where at least for me as a fan, I've realized how spoiled I can act at times watching the Buckeyes getting concerned with things, not just because of how they've been playing, but also when you look at the national landscape and how other teams are, the coaches being fired, nil, and the transfer portal has just changed college football, and it makes you just that much more grateful about what the Buckeyes have going on. So excited to dive into that a little bit tonight, dude.
Yeah.
Anything new and exciting going on in your life besides your son playing for the Buckeyes?
Nah, man, not too much, man. I mean, just like you said, man, just enjoying the season. Um, enjoying watching the my son.
Yeah.
Man, and man, just really riding this whole wave, man. It's Dietrich and I talked about this the other day. We were man, it's crazy. Just how quick time is flying. This season is halfway over with already. We felt like just like yesterday, we were laughing. We were just like, man, we just played Texas, and we were just like, can you believe our son is playing for the number one team in the country? And just a little before that, we were just like, man, can you believe our son is just like went away to college? We just felt like he was just going back. His high school ball. Just a second ago, man. So this thing is it rolls fast, man, and this time it really flies, man. So it's been something. We're really enjoying it, man. Like I say, not trying to brag or anything, but it's no better place to be, man. They're like I said, number one in the country, man. What else can you ask for? I think they're in a great spot. They're learning how it feels to be the hunted right now. And I think they got a group of guys that are can really adjust and I think they man, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think they got it in them, man. I think they can really push and I think this could be something really big and I think the back-to-back talk is really legit with this team. Like I say, I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, I do as well. You mentioned something that I've always thought about too. As a fan, we see how fast the season goes. You're not only a fan, you're a parent too, and it sounds like the season is going fast for you as well.
Yeah.
Wonder how fast it goes for these players, because you hear Ryan Day talk about the importance of like the little things and every day. And, I always hear how scheduled and disciplined and detailed the Buckeye program is. And in reality, it's because things do. They move real fast. Ryan Day talking this year, hey, we got to get better faster than any other team in the nation. And it does. It seems like it's speeding along. The Buckeyes getting better every single time. But I've always thought about that. As a fan, we sit back and enjoy it, and it flies by. Like, you're right, dude. I cannot believe we're playing Penn State already.
Yeah.
I also can't believe how different of a feel this game is than what I thought it was going to be. We'll get into that in a minute. But as these players, have you talked to Devin at all? Has he mentioned that, hey, dude, this season is flying by? Does it fly by for the players too? It's a good guess to think it probably does, but I don't know.
It's a weird thing, right? In football's always like, man, it's this weird thing where it's always two sides to the thing, right? Where it's a saying where it's like it's the days they fly by as quick as the day is long, right? And what that means is just like, man, that thing is a grind, right? I mean, it's become a year-long thing, really. But the season is very long, right? I mean, it's traveled well into next year, with the playoffs and everything. But in reality, though, that thing it's flying by fast. It is a very strange thing. In talking to my son, he has talked about that. How it does think. The season is flying, but in his eyes, right, he's felt like things have really slowed down for him. Just as far as his progression and recognizing things and just the speed of the game, just for him personally. So every guy's a little different, and I know that. But man, it is a very strange thing. How that is, how it does work. How things do kind of, man, it takes a long time to get to the end of the road, but it does fly, man, once that thing gets rolling.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Devin's season so far, wasn't a starter, and in the blink of an eye has to be called on to be a starter, and has now put himself in a role where they depend on him every single game. He's like the first dude off the bench defensively, and it just goes to show you, freshman coming in, when you have the mindset that he had of he's about his business, right? He comes in, you see the fruits of all that labor, and I'm sure sitting back as a parent, man, all those long days, all the money spent, all the time spent traveling here or there, you're finally like committing and seeing schools come after your son. I'm sure that's a little bit of fruit from what you guys went through, right? But this is the real fruit right here, getting to watch him on the field. Not just that, but at college too. Like, you got a whole different ball game going on here. Most parents deal with their kids just going off to college, and that's enough for them, right there. But you're dealing with that and watching your son on national TV. So got to do this is going to be a little recruiting pitch here in the Buckeye Boys, because we like getting some good old-fashioned recruits here to commit to Ohio State. So I got to put you on the spot a little bit. And the only reason I'm doing it because I already know the answer to the question. But we talked all the time. You had a lot of good things to say about Ohio State before Devin got there, even after Devin got there a little bit. But now you're 7 games in. Give us the breakdown, man. How is this turning out? Is it like you thought it would be? Is Devin progressing like you thought he would? And is it still the good fit that you thought it would be?
Man. Yes, and yes. I can't. To be perfectly, the easiest way I can put it is, man, everything is, in my eyes, right, rolling right as smoothly as it possibly can, right according to schedule. All the things you can think of to kind of whatever it is you want to say. That's kind of how I feel about it. Man, I can't be happier than the situation my son's in. Man, he's I've from afar, when we see the change in him as parents, he's becoming a man. He's doing his own thing. He's settled in to his routine. He's really grabbed that. And that's just his personal stuff on the field. We're real happy with how things are progressing. Is it perfect? No, but we don't expect it to be right now, right? We're in our freshman year. We understand this thing is, we've been pushing process, since day one. This is just another part of it. So man, we're real. I can't be happier, where my son is. We're playing big time ball. The stage isn't any brighter, man. Pressure is it's on another level at this place, right? It's not for everybody. I will continue to say that day in and day out. But if you got your head on right, you're looking for the right things. You got future goals in mind. You have team goals in mind. There's no better place in the country, than Ohio State. There's no better group of young men out there, in my eyes than what I see. Right, and the way that these coaches, behind the scenes, push what it is that they're doing every day. Just the attention to detail that they put into their work. The way that they hold these young men accountable for themselves. Like I say, man, we can't be happier, with what we got going on right now, man. We feel really blessed with where our son is.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear, man. And it really, what it does is there's a lot of things you hear as a fan about every team in the nation, right? But when you hear so many parents and so many players continually say, obviously not 100% of them, right? Everybody's in their own situation, but for the most part, I hear parents and players repeat what you're saying right now. Like, hey, this place is a godsend for young men that come here focused on their goals and do it the right way, right? Take a step back, humble themselves, listen, go into a room with dogs, have to fight your way up. I mean, Devin went into a room that had a 5-star corner already, had a whole year ahead of him. He had to put his head down, fight it out, ended up getting in front of him. So it just goes to show you hard work pays off. But before we dive into the football side of it, start talking about these Buckeyes offensively, defensively, and what we hope and think we might see in the Penn State game. I've got to ask you this, man, because as a fan, it's one of the coolest things I get to see is these freshmen get on campus, okay, and then they pop out in the spring game and they just look like Diesel, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, how much weight did that dude gain? As a dad, I know you guys play sports against each other a couple of times. I don't know if you guys ever play a little basketball, maybe something like that. I did watch Devin like windmill dunk at one time, messing around on a video, so he can ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think you can still take a one-on-one? If not, when did that end? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is he a pretty big dude now, man?
Oh man. I'm gonna be honest, right? He can still get this work.
Yes.
If he really wants to step up and get that, right?
I love it.
I'm just, I got one good one in me, right? I can really give it to him for one good play, right? But after that, I might have to call in for the sub. But no, man, that was one of the, again, just being dad, right? That was one of the things that when we made the commitment and we knew that we were locked in, right, and we were coming to Columbus, right?
Yeah.
And getting to know some of the staff guys. That was one of the things that I was kind of personally, kind of waiting on, right? Because, Devin's always kind of been a longer frame guy, a little thinner guy, right? Ever since, he was a young kid, right? So, I kind of wanted to really see, how he would put on weight, right? And so the thing that I was really interested in is hearing, I heard about the Body by Marati. And man, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Not only with Devin, I had a chance to see some of the other incoming guys, right? It's like I say, man, it's a real thing. From what I understand, man, it's just a lot of hard work. A lot of guys kind of pushing each other. Just like I say, man, I don't want to sound cliche, man, with some of the things that I hear. Man, it's just a big group of brothers, man, just in there trying to push themselves, get better. And like I say, man, let's say, I've heard some names. I won't call them, but from what I understand, they got a few monsters in the weight room, man. And like I said, that sets the tone for the off season. Yeah, that thing is real. Devin put on a good noticeable 12 pounds from probably the next time we saw him after we had dropped him off in January. And it's been good. So yeah, I'm happy with it, man.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed is here's just the truth. Unless you meet these men in person, you'll never really fully grasp what it is that you just said, because I thought I did. Just for instance, when I bowled with Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, and Mylan Graham. So, right beside him, shook their hand, talked to him, all those stuff. And man, I thought Jeremiah Smith was big. I knew he was a big human being. I thought Carnell Tate was like quite a bit smaller than Jeremiah Smith. That's what I thought from watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's just not true, dude. Carnell Tate he's a big dude. Jeremiah Smith Jeremiah Smith's a huge dude. And even at that Wisconsin game, got down close to the field, and seeing some of these dudes in person, including Devin, it's just like, man, what they do. But it's awesome to see when you're surrounded, because, man, when I played basketball, there's just no better feeling than being surrounded by your brothers, just sweating, grinding it out, especially when you all want the same thing. So those are memories he will never forget, and just forming into the man he's going to be in the future. Like that, those times in my life dictated a lot of who I am today. So to know, right, that your son is in a program like this, surrounded by those people, it's got to be a good feeling. And like you said, you guys are thrilled about it. But enough about that, man. I appreciate you sharing that insight. I'm always very intrigued about what it's like to be that close to the program and what you really see and all that. Because let's be honest, man. There's about 1,000 YouTube shows about the Buckeyes, 1,000 reporters, 1,000 writers. So you read all kind of stuff, and it's really nice to hear, like, hey, this is the real stuff right here. This is real life, what's going on. So appreciate that.
Yeah, the funny thing, I don't mean to cut you off, Devin, but
good. Go ahead.
With that, man, these things are all kind of like subtle, right? These things aren't like glaring. It's not like, hey, pop, that next time you see him, that's happening. These things are all kind of like subtle buildups, man. It's like I say, man, it's just a process. And let's see, these things are all gradual steps in that whole thing, man. So I think that's what's, it takes time. Right. And like I say, man, it's been great. It has.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a fan, as a person, as everything, patience is becoming one of the rarest commodities in this world today. We live in a microwave society. I mean, even as fans, hey, we want these Buckeyes scoring 50, 60 points a game. We want the 49-0 during the Michigan State game. CJ Stroud airing it downfield. That's what we want. But times have changed. The game has changed. We know Ryan Day, last year they only ran 60 plays per game. They ranked 133 in the nation. They won the national title, okay? Ryan Day's doing the same thing this year. And let's talk about offensive side of the ball. Julian saying these receivers, the running back room still trying to figure out some of their identity. The O-line been tearing it up. Had a bad game, Wisconsin. They said that in their interview, that was out of character for them. But rolling, winning the games, scoring enough points to win the game. And I'm not sure anything else matters. Matter of fact, that's one thing I do know for a fact. Nothing else matters. They're scoring enough points to win the game. Yet, I have found myself a couple times after the games thinking, dang, there's still so much more there. You know what I'm saying? And we're about to come up against a Penn State team. They got the talent on defense, right? So these Buckeyes, Julian Sain with his ability, I'm not going to go into it. I want to hear your thoughts from the Buckeyes offensively. Whatever it is you want to talk about, give me your thoughts of what these Buckeyes are doing offensively this year.
Who, man, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be critical at all, right? Just being a parent. Yeah. I'll say the snap count thing. I remember having a conversation with Coach Dave back when Devin was going through his recruiting, right before he came in, and it just kind of let me know, that he was thinking about this stuff well before the season, it kind of came across. It had been something that, you know, it was. I thought it was a little odd that that it kind of brought up, right? But then it went after we kind of got through it. I was just like, wow, he's really thinking about that. Where he just kind of talked about how Devin had played so many playoff games coming through, right, and how that basically had amounted to an extra season and a half of work, you know, as opposed to just regular season games. So, you know, we kind of talked about that a little bit in the meeting, you know, just as, you know, parent coach. So, it was, you know, like I said, it was something that just made me aware that it was something that he was thinking about. Man, as a, you know, I don't, he's onto something there. You know, I saw a graphic where I can't remember who had put that out just today. Someone was talking about how some of the other schools around the top maybe 10 in the country, some of these quote unquote contenders, where they are as far as plus snaps over to OSU right now, and how that mounted. You know, there's some teams that are already, you know, I think that was it. You know, already plus, you know, a game and a half already, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, but, you know, I think they're, like I say, they're onto something there. You know, we'll see what it is when they get to the end of this thing, right? As far as I think these guys are going offensively, you know, without me being critical, you know, again, I like to say that, you know, Coach Day, he's got a pro mindset, right? And I think that pro mindset is just win, right? Doesn't matter what the score is, get it done. You know, finish that job and move on to the next week, right? And you know, you keep stacking those things up, and before you know it, you know, you're where you need to be, right? Where you want to be. I think that's the mindset with the guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with that mindset. Let's get these games done, and you know, before we know it, you know, we're, you know, hopefully, you know, throwing up another one, man. You know, you know, our first one. So I mean, you know, that's hell, I'm all for it. Let's you know, let's move on, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of the pro mindset, watching the evolution of Julian Sayin this year and how Ryan Day and the coaching staff has kind of handled him in Texas, it was like, just don't turn the ball over, right? Like you could see that they didn't really turn him loose. And then the last game, Wisconsin turned him loose a little bit. A lot of RPOs ran in that game, allowing Julian Sayin to make that decision, right? I'm being told this Penn State game, it's let's turn Julian Sayin loose, like all the way. He's got the processing ability, he's got the arm, he's got the ability to maneuver in the pocket, and he has the team's trust now. That's what he has. And we know Jim Knowles, he's going to have that floating defender in the back trying to disguise what he's going to do. So Buckeyes working on ways to force Knowles to show his hand pre-snap and allow Julian to read it. So I'm excited about that, hearing that. Because I think the sky is the limit for Julian. Listen to his teammates talk about him. Listen to Caleb Downs talk about him. Everybody else, I'm sure you've had conversations with Devin about Julian and how cool, calm, and collected the kid is, right? Even listening to his interviews, it matches what you watch on the field. Like, doesn't matter the situation, doesn't matter what's going on. He's going to go out. He's going to stay calm, cool, and collected. Even in the Texas game, man, big time third down, made a perfect throw to our tight end. Tight end just dropped it, you know. So even that first game, that's a lot of pressure. You bring up pressure at this place, right? You see players like Devin and like Julian, who haven't played a lot of college football, coming on the biggest stage in the country, right? Not only have to do this, especially Devin, which we'll dive into in a minute, the defensive scheme, learning all the stuff Matt Patricia's doing. It's like it's no longer, hey, let's go from high school to college to NFL. It's like, hey, let's go from high school to the NFL. Let's learn NFL scheme right now. And that's just a plus for anybody playing for the Buckeyes. But I'm excited to watch these Buckeyes in this Penn State game offensively, to go up against Jim Knowles, turn Julian Sayin loose, watch these receivers, allow him to have the ability to make these reads on RPOs. And obviously they got to work on the run game a little bit. Ryan Day doesn't seem concerned about They are going to make some changes there, but it makes sense. Like you said, this thing, it's gradual. And I think as a fan, we got to sit back and realize that sometimes, like, it's small steps sometimes. Like, you're not going to go from averaging 150 yards a game to averaging 250 yards a game in one game. It's these gradual steps forward. And that's what this coaching staff is doing. After what they did last year, you just got to trust that they're going to come out and do the things that need done. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Ryan Day is the only coach in the nation that has successfully navigated the 12-team playoff. The only coach, right? So you can't be too critical of what he's doing, yet the Buckeyes are doing what they're doing, and there's still a lot of room for improvement. Like, every one of these offensive games, and this isn't meant to say it in a bad way, but there's been mistakes made. There's been blocks missed, and that's football. You're going to have it, but just imagine what they would do if they limit those mistakes. They limit those flags. That's what Day is trying to do. Get better faster than anybody else in the nation. I'm excited to see it for the Penn State game. I believe the Buckeyes are going to go through this top 25 defense in the nation, by the way. They're only giving up 326 yards per game. They're ranked 25 in the nation. Obviously, really good defensive line, really good defensive ends. We watched him in the Iowa game. That was an absolute rushing battle of the ages is what that was. They tired out a little bit in the fourth quarter and couldn't reel it home. So, particular in this Penn State game, man, I know you're limited and the conversation we can have here, but what are you excited to watch? And what areas are you expecting to see these Buckeyes grow offensively?
I'm just excited to just kind of watch them go out and continue to do the thing, right? Because I mean, this is really the halfway point of the season. I mean, being honest about it, right? I mean, if the end result is to, go to the end of the thing, right? This is the real halfway point of the season. And I think that the thing that what I think is real important about where they are right now is they need to be in a position to where they're gearing up to getting ready to peak, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's something to kind of holding that back just a little bit, not hitting that a little bit too early. But we're gearing up to that right now, right? I think that's where we are. I don't want to see them. Of course I want to go and see them, handle business, right? Do I want to see an explosion right now? No, we don't need to. Like I say, it's just let's handle business. Let's take care of this week. Continue to do the thing, man, and let's keep building, right? Because again, this is game 8 out of 16 if we're doing this thing right, man. Again, it feels like the season's flown by fast, but we're really only at the halfway point of this thing.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and something that really to understand that and to really grasp that, definitely as a fan, you kind of got to take a step back and kind of push some of your fandom to the side, because as a fan, like, sometimes you want them to come out in the moment. It's that microwave society, and watch them play their best football game ever. Like, that's what you want to see. But in reality, it's like, no, man, I hope they play their best football game ever in the national title game. That's what I hope. You know what I'm saying? So that brings up this question, and something, I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on this. Last year's team, man, they went through the storm. Okay. Oregon game, absolute heartbreaker. I was there. And I always say that. Don't think they should have lost. They lost. That's what it is. Then we know the next game, an even bigger heartbreaker. But then they come out, man, and they absolutely dominate. This year's team, not the same path so far. Not the same path. All they've been being told, right, for the most part, since the beginning of the season, is they're number one. They're number one. They're number one. Defense is number one. Julian Sainz, unstoppable. wide receivers, all this. So good. So, and you hear, right, that was an emphasis for this coaching staff this week. Like, hey, man, right, that's rat poison. Nick Saban calls that rat poison. You let that stuff sink in your head too much, it's just not good for the whole team. Well, we know the coaches, they're well aware of that. And this week they try to keep that hungry mentality that, hey, you hear Ryan Day talk about this being a matchup game. Well, the rest of the nation is talking about this going to be a blowout. Not Ryan Day. Ryan Day, this is a matchup game. The players saying the same thing. This is a matchup game. I don't care how many games they've lost. They have the talent to come out and beat us if we don't show up and do our jobs. So just expand on that a little bit. This team, how, as a coaching staff, how do they, I guess, keep instilling that hungry nature that came from, quite frankly, I think came from the losses that the team had last year? They were awful hungry in these playoffs. They came out with their hair on fire. And I mean, it'd be hard to argue that a lot of that motivation didn't come from the fact that they lost to the rival. I mean, maybe I'm wrong there, but what, you got any thoughts on that?
It's I think there's something to be said about, like I said, we kind of said it a little bit earlier, how that role's kind of changed for them now. How there's a particular pride, I believe, that comes in knowing that every week people are shooting for you. That there's a particular way you feel after a few weeks, right? You do hear that, yeah, you realize, right? You are the number one team in the country. I know that in the Woody, they're not talking that way, right? They're not. I can promise you that. But you can't help. These are 18 to 22-year-old kids. They can't help but hear that stuff. Everybody around them telling them that. They see the stuff. But man, there's something to knowing that every week, people are looking to knock you off. Every week, people are making excuses for new teams to be the number one team. Everybody's coming up with these hypotheticals on why you don't match up great with this team, why that team is, going to give you this business if you would ever see them, and that kind of stuff, right? There's people that make their living off of talking that way. The guys hear it. There's really nothing you can do about that stuff, man. But other than go out and handle your business. I think they I think they do a great job at doing that, right? Again, it's a mindset thing. But with that, man, I think it is easy to get caught up in that stuff. This is it's just minus the quarterback situation and really, I mean, what's the differential on Penn State, right? I said it's like less than 14 points in these 4 losses, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, you're talking about some unlucky stuff, really, right? Ball bounces a different way. Quarterback puts a little bit of air on the ball, in overtime. Not a missed tackle here. That kind of stuff. You could be talking about an undefeated team. A whole different ball game. I think they're just unfortunate situation with their quarterback being down, minus their coach. Through those unfortunate things, I think this is a really good football team. They're going to play this weekend. They're physical. It's a rivalry game. They run the ball well, very well. So I mean, it's a team that's familiar with you. So I think it's all there. For this to be a tough game. Hopefully it won't be. But I don't think. I'm hoping our guys are not in a situation where this could be, a trap game for us. I think the staff, Coach Day, is fully aware of that kind of stuff. Like I say, man, these guys are That's probably the one thing that I'm probably more impressed with Coach Day about is just his foresight on a lot of stuff. To know that he's been thinking about stuff a little bit ways ahead, right? I think that's one of the best things about him. Especially when you kind of figure out a little bit later on that damn, he was on that. I think that's a great thing for the guys, and like I say, I think they're in a real good spot. Just kind of go out and take care of their business on this thing, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, they started off this year preseason real good by taking down the team. Wanted to take down all the national title stuff. They were like, hey, man, we ain't done nothing yet. So when you start off like that, that's a good sign. And then you also have this fact, like last year they were that team. They not quite at the Penn State level, but they were that team where a lot of people, I mean, going into Tennessee, like several people were like, man, the Buckeyes about to lose this game. You know what I mean? So not at the level that Penn State is, but still they were a team that lost games they should not have lost last year, yet they came back and won the national title. So, I mean, that happened in their own building. So I think that also helps keep these players and this coaching staff aware that, hey, it doesn't really matter. Penn State has lost four games this year so far. They have the talent, and they can come out and give us a game. I don't think that's going to happen, but they could. It's nice to know the coaching staff is well aware of this. But defensive side of the ball, man. Defensive side of the ball this year, I mean, it's record-breaking defense, man. They're the lowest points per game since 1993, giving up less than 6 points per game. What is it, 5.9 points per game? I mean, that's absolutely insane. Matt Patricia coming in. His ability to teach, his ability to build relationships with these players, I've heard, is just at a whole different level than anything we've experienced the last couple years at Ohio State, to be honest. And we had the number one defense last year. And a lot of people are like, how do you get better from the number one defense last year? Well, they're showing us the answer right now, because I am one of those people that believe this defense is better than last year's defense. Statistically, they're showing it. The eye test, they're showing it. Defensive line, the linebackers are absolute freaks. I'm being told, kind of last year we saw after the Oregon game, we saw some defensive switches, right? Kind of the way you're talking, like, hey, you want this thing to be a gradual thing. You don't want to come out game one and stack all your chips in the middle and show everything, right? So it's going to be this gradual thing. I'm hearing this Penn State game, they're going to want to get a little more pressure on the quarterback, newer quarterback. Haven't done a ton of pressuring this year because they haven't needed to, because the secondary has just absolutely locked things down. So it's like it gives them the time they need. But hearing that, a couple players that, Edric Houston here, and he's stepping his game up a little bit. Lorenzo Styles is back for this game, Coach Day said. So defensively, this team is elite. What Matt Patricia is doing is elite. Of course, Devin's a part of that. I've always been, enamored at young kids, him, Jalen McClain coming in there and learning a sophisticated system like this. I'm not smart enough about football yet to understand exactly how sophisticated, right, this defense is that Matt Patricia is running. But people that are really smart are telling me this is an NFL defense. These guys are doing things that college football quarterbacks, they just don't see. And I'm like, okay, I believe you, So it's amazing to watch these players and their ability to, number one, learn all of this stuff. It's not like Matt Patricia got there super fast. Not like he's been there a long time. And there's a lot of differences in this defense than last year. The fronts, the secondary. I mean, and Matt Patricia's having these players do all kind of different things. I've seen Devin all over the field, Caleb, all of them. They've been all over the field. So speak to the defense a little bit, man. Whatever expectations for the Penn State game, your thoughts on it. No, you can't go too much into it, but just give us the overall feel, man. What do you think these Buckeyes are going to do?
Man, I hope they just continue to chug along, man. They've been suffocating pretty much all year. I don't. How can I put this, right? there's something going right where So here's the best way I can put it, right? Where these guys they just really bought into what's going on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Devin just calls me on a random day off. Just middle of the day. Hey man, what you doing? Nothing. Well, what's going on? Nah, I'm just sitting here. Doing what? I just watched some film. Oh yeah? Like, okay, that's cool. When you hear some voices in the background, who's all there? I'm just here with Coach P. Like, really?
Dang.
Yeah. Okay. Like, okay, that's cool. All right. So when you hear that kind of stuff, man, you start to realize that, man, that there's a closeness that's being built with these guys, right? There's a familiarity that's starting to come about, right? And I think with that, man, I think it makes it really easy for these guys to buy in and really sell out to what it is that they're asking them to do, right? And I think that's really what I think this thing is, right? I think there's just there's a real personal touch when it comes to not only Coach P, Coach Patricia, just the rest of the defensive staff. It's they again, just on the recruiting end, man, they without putting it a certain kind of way, man, they are really loving on these young men. You know what I mean? It is the kind of word that I'm looking for, right? As far as, when it comes to this thing, right? Just when I mean, they're really pouring into them, man. The staff is fully available to these young men. And that goes for the rest of the defensive players, right? The leaders amongst the group, from what I know, they're always available to the rest of the team, right? And I said, man, they got a real bond, man, when it comes to that defensive side of the ball, just in what they're doing, man. And like I say, I've had a chance to talk with the gentleman a couple times myself. Man, there's something to the guy. Hearing where he came from and just, I was surprised at how personable he was. You would think a guy who's got the stripes that he has on the wall would be a different kind of way, man. But he's a real guy. He's doing a hell of a job with this group. Like I say, and that's just on the personal side with my son. He's really put a lot into him, man. So man, I think they're doing a hell of a job. Again, without sounding any kind of way, man, I just want these guys to just go out and continue doing what they're doing. Keep suffocating these guys, keep them out the end zone. Don't give up anything, man. And, everybody stay healthy and move on to the next week.
Yeah, man. When you hear things like that, right, you hear the players say it in the interview, and there's part of you that can say, well, that's what they have to say. But then there's the other part that you can say, well, they weren't saying that last year, right? Specifically about the relationship they have with the defensive coordinator. And then you hear things about Matt Patricia just chilling on a random day, watching film with his defensive guys. And it's like, man, no wonder Ryan Day hired him, because Day, I've been told, is the same way. Very personable with these guys. I'm not sure how much now being a head coach gets pulled in different directions, but at least I'm told he cares. Like, he cares about these guys outside of football, probably more than he does with football. The the mental illness efforts Ryan Day puts in to help with that, all that stuff. No wonder he hired him. And, you hear all the stuff people said preseason about, Matt Patricia and the ire. Some people were mad about it. And then he comes in and does this. And I'll tell you, you hear the players say it. We just heard you say it. Man, I've been to 2 games this year. I went to the Washington game. I went to the Wisconsin game. And I pay attention a lot when I'm at those games to the sidelines. And I'll tell you this. The guys on defense this year are having an absolute ball, right? And you can see what you're saying right now when they're on the field. You can see what the relationship on the sidelines as well. The players going up, dapping up Matty P, hugging him laughing, all this stuff. Like his personality, it's just like, wow, man, this is really cool to see, especially in today's day and age where you brought up a really good point. How many Super Bowls does he have? 3, 4? With the stripes the dude has and his willingness to come in and do what he's doing on the personal level is crazy. And then you see what he's doing on the field, and it's just like, bro, this dude's the full package. Hopefully one of these coach openings, these spots, hopefully Matty P don't get sucked into one of those. I don't think he's going to, but hopefully.
Yeah. No, that's serious stuff, man. I mean, man, I'm really, hoping that his wife and kids, start to fall in love with Columbus, man. I want that guy around for the next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody talking about Brian Hartline, which is not happening, by the way, just to tell everybody that again. But they should be worried about Matt Patricia, bro. Matt Patricia getting stripped out from under us. But
no, really.
Man, it's awesome to hear that. That warms my heart to hear, right? Like somebody that caliber, that's new to this place, is building the relationships that he is. Like he doesn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the job description. The job description is to be the defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like on your day off, go spend some time with your family. And we know he does that too, but that's just cool to hear. And like you said, it's Ryan Day, from my knowledge, is similar, right? Might not have the time. I don't know about that, but I hear the same thing about Larry Johnson, about James Laurinaitis, about Coach Walt, about Matt G. It's like this is the best defensive coaching staff in the nation, football-wise, and, hey, let's turn your kid into a man-wise. So it's really cool to hear, man, but it's great to be a Buckeye right now in a lot of facets. Educationally, the team is absolutely killing it. The highest APR in the nation last year and on the same track this year. On the field, getting it done, doing their thing, getting better every single game. Coach Day's just on a heater right now. This Buckeye program on an absolute heater. Recruits are starting to take notice. A lot of them showing up to the Penn State game. So it's exciting to see, man. But Daniel, dude, it's always awesome getting you on here. I'm going to stay after here and get a few housekeeping things out of the way, but appreciate you coming on. We'll get you back on at some point in time in the future. I know you're busy, but always keep in touch with you. I'll hit you up another time. But you got any final thoughts for Buckeye Nation? Any words of wisdom? Do we need to be a little more patient? Or how are we acting this year, man? Are we acting like lunatics, you think?
Man, I mean, you put me on the spot with that one, right? So, I mean, man, part of that is, right? This is part of my what you call my absence in some of this stuff, man. It is, hey, don't get me wrong. I don't think that, like, I'm out here doing anything special with putting my face out here, right? But that is part of the reason why I'm kind of like step back a little bit. We are in the middle of the season. I do get it, man. I see that some guys are catching some heat out there. They say Devin's caught a few slugs here and there too. But I mean, hey, but I will say, man, it's a passionate group. They're enforcing the standard that's been set for this group, right? It's a tough one. But it's a standard that of course, they've shown that they could, achieve, right? They can they can get there. Yeah, man. I've I've grown to appreciate them.
You can say it. Hey, we're still
Yeah.
lunatics, dude. Still lunatics. It's just what it is.
But I don't look at it that way, right?
Yeah.
Did I agree with some of the stuff that went on last year? After that tough spot, no. I don't like some of the things that I don't like how some of the things got personal, right? I think when people's family get involved, I think that's when you're crossing the lines. At the same time, I do understand where some of the concerns were coming from. But man, I would say again, just be patient, man. You don't always get what you want. You get what you need, though. I think that's kind of the situation we're in. Take a look around the country, look at some of these teams, the spots they can be in here really soon. Man, I think some of these guys are going to find out that the grass isn't greener on the other side when it comes to some of the decisions they've made as far as their coaching hires or firings have gone. And I think we're in a great spot. Again, I don't think there's any better place to be right now as far as college football is concerned. This thing is it's a real train rolling, man. Get on board. Chug along, man. Come on, jump in on this ride. Or get your ass out the way before you get rolled over. That's all I can say. That's I think it's great. Like I say, man, no better place to be than watching these Buckeyes play, man. And I think my own personal opinion, not saying this because I got a kid on the team. Outside looking in, man, I'm a ball realist, man. I think right now they are clear cut, number one team in the country. I think there's a couple of real contenders out there. I think there's a couple teams that can really do some work out there. Need to be aware of. But like I say, man, it's college football is great, man. I'm loving the way things are going. Man, I'm loving how some of these conference races are going, man. I think it's great. Some of the parity that's coming along, man. I think this thing, like I say, pro mindset. I think that mindset is in place because that thing is moving in that direction. And I think you guys identified that, a little bit time ago, right? And I think that's what you're seeing with the way this game is going. There's a lot of parity going on out there with the quote unquote word. A lot of these teams are coming back to the mean. I think a lot of these teams are pretty even. So I think it's something to be said, man, when you when there's a group out there that thinks that you're that much a cut above the rest of the group out there, man. Now that it's just let's say it's been great, man. Like I say, I'm already kind of I'm in playoff kind of thinking mode right now, man. I'm starting to look at who could potentially get into this thing, and it's exciting, man. This thing is it's rolling, man. We got 30 days away from that real thing, man. And I can't wait to get up there and go check that thing out, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm stoked too. I started planning a couple trips here coming up, so I'll be there. Might hit you up, see if you're around one time. Come swing by, shake your hand. But appreciate you, man. A lot of good things. Yeah, a lot of good insight. Love talking ball with you. So yeah, man, it's good to see the Big Ten dominating this year too. I love that. But anyway, Daniel, as always, appreciate you, brother. God bless you, man. I'll hit you up and get you on here another time. Stay blessed, brother. OH.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yep. again, guy, I mean, you guys see it. It's awesome having Daniel on. You don't get much realer than he is. He just tells it how it is, knows his stuff. Love having conversations with him. Had a conversation with him, outside of the show, and he's always brought some things into perspective for me as well that I didn't know before. So just wanted to reiterate a few things afterwards that I hit on briefly there. Again, over there on the Scoop message board, the helping technician put out today, Julian saying turned a little more loose during this Penn State game. A lot of RPOs going to be ran. So watch out for him being able to make those reads. They're working specifically on making sure these players and Julian can diagnose what Jim Knowles is trying to do pre-snap. I think that's going to be a big part of this game. We know Knowles likes to throw some wild things in there. So for a young quarterback, it's going to be real important for him to pay attention to those things. But luckily, Julian Sands, our quarterback, dude's really good at what he does. So in defense, turning them loose, man. Turn them loose a little bit. Not all the way, I'm sure, but they're focusing on getting some pressure on these quarterbacks. So going to be excited to see that. This is my other new shirt I told you guys. This is my sneak down on the sideline shirt when I'm at the next game. Could I pass as like a coach or something, you guys think? If I go up and just like walk in, act like I'm supposed to be there. That's the goal anyway. But I wanted to hit on something else before we get off here. Nevada beat Moses starting next week. Are going to be going at 7:10. That is the time that I normally go. That's the time when I'm normally the most free and like the only time I can do a show. So there will be some times where I'm not going to be streaming on Scoop all the time anymore. There'll be some times when I have to go at 7:10. I'll only be on my Buckeye Boys channel. So I know you guys will be watching B. Moses in Nevada during that time. But when you get done, go over, check my show out. I'll still do them live. Hopefully I'd still see some of y'all there. But the days that I can go at 8:10 after their show, I will be doing that as well as before. So it's going to be a couple weeks before I really get down the actual schedule of the show. So bear with me a couple weeks. Make sure you hit that alert bell so you know when I'm coming on. And again, because of the time change, there's going to be times I'm only on my Buckeye Boys channel. So if you're watching me on Scoop right now, right when we get off here, go over to the Buckeye Boys channel. That's Buckeye Boys with the Z. Hit the subscribe, like button, alert bell. That way you know. So as of now, I always stream on both channels. That's not going to happen anymore simply because of the changes in the show times. But you'll still see me on Scoop now and again. So I think that's going to do it, guys. I think that's going to do it. No B. Moses in Nevada afterwards. I didn't think about a score prediction, right? And I got to give a score prediction. So chat, let's see them. Let's see the score predictions for the Penn State game. I will not be on tomorrow. This is the last show I'll be doing before the Penn State game. So let me think about this for a second. All right. Nah, that's not. Nah. All right, here we go. All right. My score prediction is 34-6. Steely, we were awful close. 34-6 is my final score prediction. And Tank, yes, I will pick you up now. Did you guys see the table wiggle at all during the show? Every time it's this monster. There's these little plastic things down where I can adjust the table. She chews on them. And then I think she hits the, are you staring at the audience right now? And you got something to say? Are you giving them the cute eyeball look, huh? Saying, I didn't do nothing wrong, Daddy. I just want to see my daddies. Yeah, she's got me, man. But anyway, guys, hey, appreciate you guys for watching. As always, appreciate the support. Let me double check, make sure. Okay, I didn't miss anybody's super chats or nothing. Didn't do it. All right. Matter of fact, I got to check this out. Hold on, not done yet. I know I keep acting like I'm ending and I'm not. Liz, 45-6. I like it. Curious to see if if we get into that score range, if we see some Lincoln and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's why I could see us getting around the 34-3 range, and then Lincoln and them coming in and seeing how well they can move the ball down the field will depend on what the final score is. 42-13, Dreamtime Relaxation. Man, that sounds like a relaxing name, man. 38-3. I like it. That'd be a good game as well. Steely, 34-3. 34-10, Geo. 56-0. That's what I'm talking about, Karis. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to see. We'll come out here and just get this thing done. 49-6, Fancy. 45-10, Sage. Okay, 45-3. All right, looking like everybody's thinking we're going to be scoring some points. Yo, shout out my dude Brad watching on X. Sent me them. Yo, I'll show Brad. See, Brad? Got him. Sitting back there on the table. Appreciate you, brother. All right, y'all. It's that time now officially. Matt, 100-0. Hey, Aunt Chris in the building. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys for watching. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.